Hello there, Phantom Freak here, aka Moist Master Flex, and this is 5 tips to finishing music faster. So this is still relatively a new YouTube channel, so this is probably going to be one of the earlier videos. So I have to give my little spiel, my background here. For those of you that don't know me, some of you do. For those of you that don't know me, Phantom Freak, I'm a DJ, producer, label owner, and A&R. I've done A&R for other labels too, House of Hustle namely, but now I own my own label now, and I do A&R for my own label, Thick Freakness Records. Needless to say, I write a lot of music. If you go to my back catalog, I probably have upwards of, I don't know, nearly 100 tracks now. At this point, writing music is very much so natural to me. I've been doing this for about 6-7 years. Of just music production, and then about 10 plus years of DJing. Not to mention I've been musical my whole life, being in choirs and playing guitar at a young age. So just naturally through the process and journey of writing music and messing around with stuff, I've learned a lot of things that work for me and generally just make the process a lot quicker, a lot easier, and overall just better quality stuff. And this video is really just going to come down to habits and little techniques and tools that you can apply in your own writing to finish music a lot quicker. So these are my 5 tips to finishing music faster. Tip number 1, designate a time every day to sit down and write. Like I said, a lot of this is going to come down to habits and your routine. What I personally do is 30 minutes minimum each and every single day of sitting down and doing something musical, whether that be, songwriting, writing something brand new, whether that's, tweaking a song that I already have that kind of needs to still be finished, whether that's, a collaboration, whether that's mixing, any sort of thing, as long as I spend 30 minutes per day minimum writing or doing something musical, that basically satisfies my, my promise to myself. I make sure that it's a promise that I sit down and I write and work on music, at minimum 30 minutes a day, but it can definitely be substantially longer, just depending on, my schedule and what else I have going on. It could be upwards of like 3, 4, 5 hours. So yeah, the main thing here is habit and routine. Once you make it a routine, once you make it a habit, it just comes natural. You're just going to sit down, you're just going to write. Rain or shine, whether you feel bad or you feel good, you're going to sit down and write. And, really what it comes down to is quality comes from quantity. So the amount of time you spend sitting down and writing, putting in your reps, just like going to the gym, putting in your reps, you're eventually going to get stronger, you're going to get better, and it's just going to happen naturally over time. Tip number 2, remove distractions from your environment. I think this one kind of goes without saying. It's kind of obvious, but I guess we all kind of need a reminder, me especially. Gotta stay off of this thing. It's just a nuisance, honestly. It stops your creative flow, it stops the process. Another one of mine is actually YouTube, coincidentally and ironically. Sometimes I can go down massive YouTube rabbit holes just for minutes and hours unless I stop myself. So anything you find yourself getting distracted by within your environment, whether that be your phone, other electronics, YouTube, do anything you can possibly to remove those from the environment. The easiest thing to do is just remove your phone from your environment or turn it off, or you can even put up blockers on your browser. That way you can't access certain websites and whatnot. Also, there's tons of tools on iPhone in particular. I don't know about Android or other stuff, but you can use those focus tools that will kind of block out a lot of the apps that take up a lot of your time, so you can just focus in on the work and just working on music like you have to, like you should. Tip number 3, get feedback or collaborate on what you're working on. So a lot of times we get, if you're working on something for a long time, you start to get ear fatigue, or, it tends to be kind of loopy and you get stuck, and that's just naturally going to happen. One of the ways I've found that kind of gets me unstuck is reaching out to, trusted friends, other artists. It can be artists or even non-artists. Sometimes non-artists can even be really good about giving feedback because they don't have that same ear. They're more of listening from a listener, a general listener's perspective as opposed to a musician's perspective. But both are, both have their utility. You can get feedback from both musicians and non-musicians, producers and non-producers. And I find this very useful, especially when I'm like midway through a project and trying to figure out the best direction to go to next. Usually a lot of my musician friends will give me some pretty solid feedback, and they usually don't hold any punches back, which I really appreciate, honestly. The honesty definitely helps me get better, and that's what I'm here for, honestly, is just to get better. Little sidebar, I actually do a feedback stream on Twitch every Monday at 7 p.m. So yeah, you can always submit tunes to me. I'm happy to give feedback on any and all music if you ever get stuck. Additionally, collaborating is a really, really great way to get music finished a lot faster. Sometimes if I get stuck, I will, send an idea out to a friend of mine, somebody who I think will kind of vibe with that particular idea. Just from the general style, I can kind of tell, like, oh, I think this is kind of like up your street, up your lane, would you be down to, write something on this or work together on this? And that generally helps a lot with finishing a lot more music faster. Tip number 4, work on multiple projects at the same time. This is something that I generally do. I'm typically working on anywhere from like 4 to 8 different projects simultaneously. Not like I'm not like jumping back and forth between each project each and every single day, but usually I'll write a little bit on something, let it sit for like a couple days or even a couple weeks sometimes, and then come back to it and listen to it with fresh ears. And it actually helps me kind of get through some of those, breaks that I have, some of those blocks. And when I say multiple projects, I mean, multiple solo projects as well as multiple collaborations. So at any given time, like I said, I'll be working on 4 to 8 different projects. That way I can kind of get fresh ears on a project at any given day, at any given time. Not to mention, this is a little kind of tool or technique that I've established for myself, in conjunction with doing just sitting down and writing for 30 minutes each day. I try to make at least 1 beat per day. Whether that's just like an 8 or 16 bar loop, just a basic, bass line, drums, and, maybe a vocal or synth. And I give myself a little parameter of maybe like an hour or 2 hours of just sitting down and just writing a basic idea. Then I save that project, I make sure I date it and name it, the genre, the BPM, and the key that it's in. And I save that, and then I export it and upload it to my private SoundCloud. And I just, each and every single day I have like a new beat that I can listen back to. I go back maybe a month later and I can go through and listen to all of them and see which ones are worth developing and which ones are not. So I always have a repertoire to kind of pull from. I honestly don't know where I came up with that. It was just an idea to start writing every day. And it's been super useful. It's helped me, finish a lot more music a lot faster. And it's helped me start a lot of collaborations as well as, finishing a lot of solo projects as well. Tip 5, step away from the music. This one's kind of more like a last resort type of thing. We all have lives, it's sometimes it gets very, very difficult to sit down and write music. You definitely have to take care of your health and your mental health. Number 1 priority always. So yeah, my best tool when you're not really feeling it, or it's just difficult to write something because maybe you have something else going on in your life, or you're fighting with your brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, what have you. It's better to just kind of just step away, whether that be for a few minutes, whether that be for a few hours, whether that be for a few days or a few weeks even. Sometimes it's really good to kind of give yourself that space between you and the creative process. We're not robots, we're not automatons, we're human. You definitely need to rest. Rest is very important. Even though I said you should maintain a routine to write every single day, sometimes it's just not in the cards. And if you can't do it, you can't do it. It's more important to take care of your health, your mental health, and to rest. And then when you can get back to it, definitely get back to it. And today's sponsor is Eargasm Earplugs. I recently got sponsored by Eargasm because I am a big proponent of ear protection. I go to a lot of shows, a lot of raves, a lot of concerts, all that stuff. And I want to make sure that I don't, get hearing damage. That really high-pitched beep that you get, you know, like the night of or the day after like a show. You're definitely going to avoid that by wearing really, really good earplugs. And Eargasms are amazing. They're very portable, very comfortable. You know, the only issue you're gonna have probably is that you lose them, you know, but they always give you like another pair in the box, and they're great. You don't lose any of the crispiness in the sound and live music, and you're actually able to even talk to people like right next to you. So yeah, go to eargasm.com, use my promo code Phantom10 for a discount, and get yourself some earplugs. And like I mentioned previously, I do a live Twitch stream every Monday at 7 p.m. where I just give, you know, people feedback on the music, and there really isn't any genre restrictions. I listen to all sorts of stuff. It's mostly EDM based, but you know, like house, breaks, UKG, drum and bass, dubstep, all that stuff. But I've also listened to a lot of other stuff: hip hop, rock, psychedelic rock, ambient stuff, synthwave, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I'll also include that link in the comments below too. That's every Monday, 7 p.m. on Twitch. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, and follow me on all the things. I'm here on YouTube, obviously. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm on all the things. And if you like this video, you know, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully I can make a lot more like this. Thanks. Bye.